Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today we're going to be discussing the modes in Quake Champions, and how they don't really make a lot of sense. In one of my previous videos called Quake Champions is Too Difficult, link in the top right hand corner by the way if you have not watched it, I emphasized that the new play experience for this game is not necessarily difficult, it's just really unintuitive, and therefore many new people quit simply because they don't really know what's going on. For a quick clarification on that video, my intention wasn't to go and say that the lack of tutorials was the only reason for Quake Champions having a smaller player base, because in reality it's a combination of many factors. Terrible netcode, long queue times, disconnections, bad matchmaking, frustrating champions, long grind to go and unlock champions, unoptimized game performance. I could go on and on and on. In that video, I really wanted to go and hone in on the new player experience, hence why I just went and talked about the lack of guidance and the lack of tutorials. But of course, all the other issues are really important as well, and therefore the reason why Quake Champions doesn't have the best player base is just more so a melting pot of every issue combined. Now going back to the topic at hand, in the comments of that Quake is difficult video, somebody said that another reason why Quake is so unintuitive is because map control is so imperative. Having to pick up weapons and items and buffs is not intuitive to a new player, and therefore they just get lost. I personally 100% agree with this viewpoint. When I first got into the game, I would run around like an idiot, which I do in most other games, trying to rely purely on aim, and that simply doesn't work in Quake. Bit by bit, I learned what I actually needed to go and do, and therefore my experience became a lot more positive, but the learning curve was really steep. This is somewhat exasperated by the modes in Quake Champions, in particular the most popular mode right now, Team Deathmatch, which I feel is a very poor representation of what Quake actually is. When you hop into TDM for the first time ever, you mainly just focus on killing people, but then you have to pick up weapons and then get buffs and then items, and then you have to realize, okay, this is where the weapon spawns, this is where quad spawns, this is where the item spawns, and overall, it's way too much for a new player to go and take in. You have good players and bad players altogether, with good players dominating the lobby for a good reason. Even though they might not have the best aim, they know the map, they know where the items spawn, they know where the weapons spawn, and therefore they can control the map in such a way that it just completely oppresses the people that don't know. It's basically chaotic team-based free-for-all, as the good players just have extra weight to go and carry, and therefore this mode doesn't show off anything that makes Quake actually fun. If Team Deathmatch is basically a completely inferior version of 4v4 Deathmatch, why does Team Deathmatch even exist in the first place? It's neither casual, as it's inconvenient in terms of picking up weapons, timing buffs, and ensuring you have map control, but it's also not hardcore, as in the end it's mindless Team Deathmatch 1v4ing against the enemy team when you have one good player and 3 bad players and they're just dead weight. The goal is just to go and kill the other team. There is no tense nail-biting moment, it's just going through the movements, going through the motions, despite them being quite laborious to perform. It's completely chaotic, you just run around the map and run into people, but you have to put a lot of thought into the micromanagement of your weapons and your items and your buffs, so it's a really harsh contrast that doesn't really work for the most popular mode in the game, since most people just want to go and run around and shoot people and not do the micromanagement, especially if they're a new player and never played Quake before. If you want to go and play Quake the way it's supposed to be played, you go and play Deathmatch, because that is quintessential Quake. Map control, massive emphasis on individual skill, no dead weight, if you die it's your fault. Overall, it's a fantastic mode and there's no reason to go and change it in any way, shape or form. However, sometimes after a long day at university, I just want to go and have a little bit of fun. I just want to go and play some video games, and I don't want to go and focus on anything but just shooting my opponents. Now, Quake Champions at this point in time doesn't have a mode that can go and facilitate just hopping in and having some casual fun, because TDM, casual TDM, is neither casual nor fun. Deathmatch, it goes and raises the stakes. It's a little bit too much if you just want to sit back and have some fun. And Instagib, it's actually pretty intense with the one-shot kills. So everything is always, you've got to win, always try 100% of the time. While some people go and say that this is a good decision because it goes and upholds the competitive integrity of Quake Champions, you have to go and realize that you're just excluding 4/5 of your potential player base. The majority of people don't play games because they want to go and win, they just want to go and smash their opponents. They play because they want to have some fun with their friends by just hopping onto a game and just shooting some enemies, and Quake Champions does not go and facilitate this in any way, shape or form. I can't go and say to my friends, hey, do you want to go and play a cool shoot? It's called Quake Champions, because 95% of the time, they're just going to get overloaded. There's no introductory mode, there's no casual mode that can go and hook somebody in, and then when they realize, okay, this game is actually quite fun, then they can go and dabble a little bit more into the more hardcore modes and the more competitive modes like deathmatch and so on and so on, because there is no introductory step. There's no step to go and get their feet a little bit wet in the water, if you know what I mean. It's just you played a game, hardcore, or you just don't go and play the game at all. That right there is another reason why Quake doesn't have a big player base, because when you have any video game, you need a really big casual community, because in the end of it, the competitive community, or the people that play ranked or whatever, is going to be a very small percentage in comparison to the majority of people that play the game for fun. Let's go through some examples. Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The people that just go and hop in the casual community service, whatever, are much greater than the people that go and play ranked. League of Legends, the same thing. The majority of the people go and play just with their friends in 5v5s or ARAMs or whatever. Not many people actually, comparatively, percentage-wise, go and play ranked. You have to go and facilitate the casual community, but it doesn't mean you have to go and compromise on the competitive integrity of the game, and that's what Bethesda just doesn't get. By not going and facilitating casual players who may actually want to go and play Quake Champions, because to be fair, the gameplay, the characters, the maps are really fun to go and play on, you're just saying to them, don't go and play a game. And that is the fundamental mistake that Lawbreakers made. They said, we're competitive, and the game just died. The only reason Quake Champions right now is alive is because it's free to play, and the Quake hardcore community is going and holding it up. The diehards are holding it up, but there is no gateway for new people to go and hop in and actually have some fun. So 8 minutes into the video, let me go and talk about Clan Arena, something that could go and solve the issue that I just went and talked about. A mode that is quite competitive, it has a competitive streak through it, but it's also quite casual and easy to access. It's basically a form of no respawn team deathmatch that gives you all your guns from the get-go, along with no armor or health pickups. People have been asking for this mode for a very long time, since it's an easy to access version of Quake. You hop in, shoot some enemies, have some fun, and learn some cool things from better people in the lobby. But you also have those cool, really tense moments when somebody's trying to pull off a clutch as well. You can go and say to your friends, hey, go and play Quake Champions, we'll play this mode called Clan Arena. You don't have to worry about the buffs and the spawns and all that, you just get all the weapons, just run around, try to learn the movement, try to go and learn what the guns do, and when those players go and die that maybe are not as good, they can go and watch you, the more experienced player, go and play, and they say, hey, that looks really cool, how do I go and do that? And then you say, hey, I did this and I do that, and and you try to go and teach them along the way. You go and get their interest just peaked a little bit with this, I wouldn't say fully fledged version of Quake, but it goes and has a substantial amount of Quake in it that it goes and piques their interest. It's one of the most popular modes in Quake's history for a reason, because, as I said, it's easier for new people to go and get into, but it's also a chill mode for an experienced player. When I get back from university, what do you think I'm going to be playing? Team Deathmatch or Deathmatch? No, I'm going to be playing Clan Arena, because it is just a really fun mode that I can go and play and still, get the itch of, okay, I'm shooting some enemies and, it's a little bit difficult, but it's not the fully fledged version of Quake that I don't necessarily want after a stressful day. Okay, UCD, Clan Arena, it's fantastic, it's a super popular Quake mode. Why don't we have it in Quake Champions? Well, it's not as simple as just putting the mode in the game. The first one is the Champions factor. Every character has different health and armor, but what about ultimates? How often should the ultimates be up? Should some champions just be banned? Should there be champions at all? But if there's no champions, isn't it just a remastered Quake Live? You see, that is one facet, but there's many more. What happens when people stop queuing TDM and just queue Clan Arena? It's still Quake, but it's easy to go and access, easy to go and think about, and can still go and provide those awesome moments. You can go and pull your friends in, and it's just stuff that TDM can't provide right now. So do we go and rework TDM to be Clan Arena but with respawn, so you don't have to go and pick up weapons and you can just shoot enemies? That would go and solve a whole Champions problem, but then again, it would be different to Rank 2v2 TDM, which is inherently more competitive. It would also not go and show people what actual Quake is, just showing them a fun but easy to go and access version. But the game is free to play. Bethesda wants more people to go and play it. A more casual mode will go and do that. It goes and completely succeeds in their goal of Quake Champions in general. They implemented Champions so more people go and play it that played Overwatch. So what do you go and do? But people also want the current version of TDM and casual. So do we go and put a casual 2v2, but no one would go and play it? There's just a ton of ideas you can go and bounce back and forth, but they usually all conflict. The answer to this isn't clear cut, as introducing new modes into a game like this can completely go and kill other modes. I feel like the removal of Sacrifice was along those lines. People just didn't really want to go and play it. But then, how do you go and add new modes? Well, you do playlists and bundle modes together, but people hated that, so you go back to a mode selector. But what about CDF, arguably one of the best game modes of all time? What about Rocket Arena? We need more team-based modes, but how do we implement them organically? I think it's easy to go and see that this isn't a clear-cut problem. One solution that Riot Games, the developers of League of Legends, have gone and forward up is you have a rotating game mode where you have 2, 3, 4 game modes that a lot of people really do like, but you only have them on for like a week or so at a time and then goes and swaps to another one, so it just keeps it all fresh. But that doesn't work with Quake Champions because having CTF on a rotating game, it just doesn't go and work. It's such a fantastic mode. It has to be in the game permanently, but Clan Arena does well. But Rocket Arena has to be in there as well. So there's like so many things saying, I want this and I want that. Maybe Duel should be in casual as well. I think that would be a great idea. Like, what do you go and do? Who knows? It's either do something, alienate the current player base and kill certain modes, or you don't go and do anything, you don't add any new modes, and in the end of it, new players will just continue not to go and play the game, simply because it's such a jarring and in-your-face experience. Now, I said this before, but let me reiterate. A lot of people in the community right now are probably thinking, screw the new players, focus on the hardcore crowd. I hate to go and break it to you, but Quake Champions is a game that is meant to expand the series so more people can go and play it. The addition of Champions and the free-to-play tag confirm that. They changed the Quake formula so more people would go and play it. They want the casuals in the game. They want casual players in Quake Champions, but for some reason, this just hasn't been facilitated for some reason. Bethesda wants the game to go and grow, but they're saying we're not going to go and give any reason for people to go and play the game if they've never gone and played it before. And therefore, that's the reason why you're stuck with a relatively low game population. This game could be a lot more popular if the stepping stones are put in place, so people get their feet a little bit wet and then go and hop in and actually can go and check out the full game in its full-fledged glory once they actually go and get the fundamentals down. Now, with all of that said, let me go and talk about one thing. Screw abilities in Instagib. The mode is supposed to be about the railgun, not the abilities. I'm fine with Visor, but getting killed by a Death Knight or getting any shot blocked by Clutch or dying to a Ranger Warp is super annoying. How to go and fix this? Just disable abilities in Instagib and just keep the champions. Simple. Yes, people just go and play the faster champions, but it's better than getting frustrated in arguably one of my most favorite modes. And I know the developers have gone and said on the Discord supposedly that, oh, the game mode's supposed to be casual, but it actually gets really intense. More intense than Team Deathmatch ever will. So in the end of it, I think going to disabling the abilities as a start is a good way just to go and make the game feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more organic, because having lethal abilities in a game that is supposed to be about skill, a skill-based mode, it just doesn't make any sense. But right now, Instagib is probably my go-to casual mode. Now, yes, it is super aim intensive, and if you don't have aim, and therefore that's a lot of people coming into Quake Champions in the first place, it's not going to be the best mode for them. But for me, I can just sit back and just run around and shoot some people. Man, it's fun. But I want that in a team setting. Potentially respawns on or off, I don't really care. But just give us Clan Arena. Come on, just give us Clan Arena, please. Just somehow make it work, boys. Somehow make it work, because I just want to go and hop in, shoot some enemies, go on some kill streaks, and just have some fun. And I want that in more so of a team environment, because having the whole down period where you watch other people is just so cool. Instagib gets really intense because it's always just go. And sometimes you need those down periods. You have to look at Fortnite. The game is so popular, not because the game is the best game in the world, because it's flawed in many ways, but it's a good social game. It's a good social and it's a good competitive game, to be perfectly fair. You have those down moments where you can go and talk to people, but you also have those really intense moments where you're having these massive battles. Same thing with Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Between rounds, you can go and talk. Same thing with League of Legends when a lot of stuff isn't happening. It can't just be go the full time. You need those down periods, and Clan Arena goes and gets that. It's the key. Look at all the competitive games. Rainbow Six Siege is the same. Rocket League is the same as well. All of these games have these down periods. Quake Champions doesn't. StarCraft arguably doesn't. And that's another reason why that game has gone downhill, because it's just too much for people to go and take in. So as you can go and see, there's a lot of factors at work, and I'm not going to say, okay, just dumb down Quake Champions, just make it easier for people to go and experience Quake Champions so they can go and then play the game in its full glory a little bit later on. So I checked out a lot of things in this commentary, but I think we can go and agree. Get rid of abilities in Instagib, and TDM sucks. I think that's what we can go and agree with, but I would love to go and hear what you guys go and think in the comment section below. Bye for now, it's Undercover Dudes, all the way from down under. Out.